The scalpel catches the fluorescent light for half a second before it embeds itself in the assassin's throat. Blood sprays across sterile white tiles. The man drops, gurgling, clutching at the wound that's already stolen his last breath. Behind him, 5 more armed men freeze in the doorway of operating room 3, their silenced weapons trained on the woman standing between them and the unconscious prosecutor on the surgical table. Dr. Kenya Adler doesn't look like a killer. Her navy blue scrubs are soaked with blood. Some hers, most not. Her surgical mask hangs around her neck. Her hands, steady as stone, grip another scalpel. "Who's next?" she asks. But 12 hours ago, she was just a doctor. Seoul at night is a symphony of neon and rain. The city pulses with life even at 11 p.m. Street vendors packing up tents, taxi horns echoing through wet streets, convenience store lights bleeding color onto slick pavement. But inside Seoul National Hospital's emergency department, the chaos has a different rhythm. Dr. Kenya Adler walks through the corridor with the quiet efficiency of someone who's learned to be invisible. At 31, she's striking without trying. Rich dark brown skin that glows under harsh hospital lighting. Natural coily hair pulled into a low bun. Intelligent eyes that miss nothing. She's tall, athletic, moves like water through the organized chaos of the ER. "Dr. Adler, quiet night so far," Nurse Yoon Jung calls from the station. The older woman's been working this floor for 20 years. She's seen everything. Kenya nods, doesn't stop walking. Let's hope it stays that way. In the break room, she makes coffee with military precision. Exact measurements, specific timing. Habits die hard, even after 18 months of trying to kill them. The calendar on the wall catches her eye. Today's date circled in red marker with 2 words, Maya's birthday. Kenya's hand trembles. Just for a second. She forces it steady, brings the coffee cup to her lips, and closes her eyes. Flashback. South Sudan, 18 months ago. Darkness, screaming. The wet sound of machetes cutting through canvas, through flesh. Kenya's pressed flat against supply crates, hand clamped over her own mouth to keep from breathing too loud. Through the gap in the tent flap, she sees them. Her entire medical unit. 12 doctors and nurses on their knees. The warlord gives the order in a language she doesn't speak, but the meaning is clear in the way his men raise their weapons. Dr. Maya Chen is third in line. She's 29. She's brilliant. She's Kenya's best friend. She looks directly at the tent where Kenya is hiding and mouths 2 words, "Just run." Then her throat opens red, and Kenya stops breathing entirely. Back to present. Kenya opens her eyes. The coffee tastes like ash. She drinks it anyway. Patient rounds take 30 minutes. 3 post-op cases from earlier shifts. Appendectomy, gallbladder removal, gunshot wound to the leg from Ariisa, gang dispute. All stable, all sleeping, all alive, because someone knew how to hold a scalpel without shaking. Young Nurse Minji catches up to her in the hallway, bright-eyed and earnest. "Dr. Adler, you work every night shift. Don't you ever sleep? Don't you have a life outside this place?" Kenya doesn't break stride. "This is my life." It's not a lie. Her apartment is 15 minutes away by subway. A small efficiency in Itaewon with 2 changes of clothes, a go bag packed with cash and 3 fake passports, and absolutely nothing that connects her to the woman she used to be. Major Kenya Adler doesn't exist anymore. That woman died in South Sudan with her team. "You're too good for night shift," Yoon Jung says when Kenya stops at the nurse's station to sign charts. The older woman's eyes are kind. "You should be teaching, running a department." "I like the quiet." Kenya scans the security camera positions without looking like she's scanning them. 6 cameras, 3 blind spots, 2 emergency exits, 1 main entrance. Always know your exits, always have an escape route. Yoon Jung studies her face. "You're running from something." Kenya meets her eyes. "Aren't we all?" 10:47 p.m. Outside. Seoul Central Courthouse. Prosecutor Shin Tae-min is exhausted. It shows in the way he loosens his tie as he walks down the courthouse steps, in the slight slump of his shoulders under the expensive suit, in the dark circles under his eyes that his glasses can't hide. At 36, he's one of the youngest senior prosecutors in the International Crimes Division. It's cost him everything. His marriage ended before his wife died. His social life is non-existent, and his 16-year-old niece, Ara, barely recognizes him when he manages to make it home before midnight. Tonight won't be one of those nights. He's on the phone, case files tucked under one arm, his security detail flanking him. Ara, I know I promised. You always promise, Uncle. Her voice carries affection and resignation in equal measure. It's fine. Just be safe, okay? Always am. He smiles, even though she can't see it. I'll make it up to you this weekend. That new cafe you wanted to try? The black van doesn't signal before it screeches around the corner. Taemin's security detail, 2 experienced men, former military, react instantly. But silenced weapons don't give warnings. Both men drop before they can draw their guns, neat holes in their foreheads, dead before they hit the ground. Taemin runs. Training takes over. He drops the case files, sprints toward the nearest cover, his mind cataloging details even as his heart tries to explode out of his chest. 4 masked men. Professional movement, suppressed pistols. This is a hit, not a mugging. The first bullet punches through his shoulder. Pain explodes white hot and he stumbles but doesn't stop. Can't stop. Ara's voice in his head. Be safe. His wife Soo-jin's last words. Don't waste your life. The second bullet takes him in the abdomen. He goes down hard, sliding across wet pavement, his glasses flying off. The world blurs. Footsteps approach, measured, unhurried. Someone's talking on a radio. Target down, confirming kill. Then sirens, beautiful, blessed sirens. The footsteps retreat. Engines rev when tires squeal. Taemin lies on his back, rain mixing with blood, staring up at Seoul's light-polluted sky, and thinks, I broke my promise to Ara. Then paramedics are shouting, hands are pressing on wounds, and everything goes white. 11:03 p.m., Seoul National Hospital Emergency Department. The automatic doors explode inward. Gunshot wounds. 2 entry, no exit. BP dropping. He's crashing. Kenya's at the nurse's station when the gurney comes flying through, paramedics running alongside it, hands pressed to the patient's torso. She moves without thinking, coffee cup forgotten, her entire being narrowing to the man dying in front of her. Get him to OR3 now! Her voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. Move, Yoon-jung, call the blood bank. Minji, prep the surgical suite. Go! She grabs the patient's chart from the paramedic. Male, mid-30s, 2 GSWs, gunshot wounds, to shoulder and abdomen. The shoulders through and through, manageable, but the abdominal wound. Case files scatter across the floor from the gurney. Kenya's eyes catch the header on one, Volkov Arms Trafficking. Evidence log, classified. Her blood turns cold for half a second. Professional hit. She knows the signs. She's seen them in Lagos, in Kandahar, in South Sudan. This isn't random violence. Someone wanted this man dead. Doesn't matter. He's her patient now. In the waiting room, a teenage girl is sobbing. Pretty, long dark hair, school uniform. Is my uncle going to die? Please, someone tell me. Kenya pauses for exactly 2 seconds. We're doing everything we can. The girl grabs her hand. Please save him. He's all I have left. Maya's face flashes through Kenya's mind. All I have left. And she squeezes the girl's hand once. I will. It's a promise she has no right to make. She makes it anyway. Operating room 3 smells like antiseptic and possibility. Kenya scrubs her hands with the ritualistic precision surgeons learn in their first year and perfect over a lifetime. The water runs clear, then pink as she scrubs harder, washing away invisible contaminants and visible worry. Through the window, she watches her team prep the patient. Dr. Park, the anesthesiologist, is already establishing an airway. Yoon-jung and Minji move like dancers, setting up instruments, checking monitors, preparing for war. Because that's what surgery is at its core, controlled warfare against death. Kenya enters the OR, gloves snapping on. Status? BP 70/40 and dropping, Dr. Park says, his voice steady. 2 units of O-negative running. He's barely hanging on. Kenya looks down at the patient. Without his glasses, he looks younger, vulnerable. There's a scar on his left eyebrow that tells a story she'll never know. His hands are elegant, intellectual, not the hands of a fighter. He needs a fighter tonight. 2 GSWs, Kenya says, her voice shifting into teaching mode even though she's the only surgeon in the room. Old habits. Shoulder wound is through and through, clean entry and exit. The abdominal wound is the problem. No exit means the bullet's still inside, likely fragmentation near the hepatic artery. If I don't control this bleeding in 15 minutes, he's dead. She makes the first incision. The human body is an incredible thing. Layers of skin, fascia, muscle, all serving specific purposes, all vulnerable to metal moving at high velocity. Kenya's hands move with absolute certainty, cutting through tissue, clamping vessels, searching for the bullet that's trying to kill her patient. Suction, she orders. Blood wells up. Minji responds instantly. Kenya's face is serene, completely focused. This is where she lives. In the space between life and death, where knowledge and nerve meet, where steady hands mean everything. She doesn't think about South Sudan, doesn't think about the 12 people she couldn't save, just this one. Security Chief Kang Do-sik watches the monitors with growing unease. 6 figures in tactical gear moving through the parking structure with military efficiency. They're not hiding, they're hunting. 2 security guards approach. He watches them die on screen, quick, professional, suppressed weapons. His hand hovers over the lockdown protocol button. Then his phone buzzes. Unknown number. He knows better than to ignore it. Chief Kang, you have a family, 2 daughters. They're at Seoul Arts Academy right now, aren't they? Such a good school. Kang's mouth goes dry. What do you want? The prosecutor dies tonight. The surgeon too, if she gets in the way. You make sure our team has access. You delay SWAT response. You survive. Your daughters survive. Simple math. The line goes dead. Kang stares at the monitors, at the armed men, at the innocent staff walking past, unaware they're in a war zone. He thinks of his daughters, Mina, 13, who wants to be a dancer, Harin, 10, who collects seashells and believes the world is good. He presses the lockdown button, but he doesn't call SWAT immediately. Operating Room 3. Kenya's elbow deep in the prosecutor's abdomen when the alarms start. Red lights flash. The electronic lock on the OR door engages with a heavy chunk. What's that? Minji asks, startled. Lockdown protocol, Yoon Jung says, but her voice is uncertain. Must be a drill. Kenya's hands don't stop moving. She's found the bullet, fragmented, lodged against the hepatic artery. One wrong move and he bleeds out in seconds. No one moves, no one talks. I need absolute focus. Her phone buzzes on the counter, once, twice, 10 times in rapid succession. Dr. Adler, your phone, ignore it. Kenya's voice is steel. She's isolating the bullet fragment, using micro movements, every nerve in her body dialed to maximum sensitivity. The phone keeps buzzing. Doctor, it's really insistent. Someone read it then. Kenya snaps, then immediately softens. Please, but quietly. Minji picks up the phone with gloved hands. Her face goes pale. Dr. Adler, it says, hello, Dr. Adler, or should I say Major Kenya Adler? Kenya's hands freeze for half a second. Just half a second. But in surgery, that's an eternity. Keep reading, she says, her voice carefully neutral. Minji swallows. Next message. Gabriel sends his regards. The prosecutor dies tonight, and so do you. The temperature in the OR drops 10 degrees. Dr. Park looks up from his monitors. Kenya? She doesn't answer. Her hands resume their work, but something's changed in her eyes. The surgeon is still there, but something older, something harder has awakened underneath. How long until I can close? She asks. He needs at least another 10 minutes of repair work on that artery. Then I work fast. Kenya's movements become even more precise. even more economical. Because in about 5 minutes, men with guns are going to try to break down that door, and when they do, you're all going to get behind me and stay there. Yoon Jung's voice trembles. What are you talking about? Kenya extracts the final bullet fragment, starts suturing the artery with movements so fast they blur. I'm talking about surviving. Now be quiet and let me work. Outside in the hallway, gunshots echo. Close. Getting closer. Before we go any further, I need to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where your past came back to haunt you? When everything you were running from finally caught up? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're already hooked by Kenya and Taemin's story, hit that like button so I know you're here for the drama. This is about to get intense. Let's keep going. Kenya's mind is splitting into 2 tracks. Track 1, surgical repair, clamp, suture, check for bleeding, repeat. The prosecutor's abdomen is a roadmap of damage, and she's the only person who can navigate it. 3 more minutes and she can close. He'll live. Track 2, tactical assessment, 6 armed hostiles, maybe more. Professional team. They found her after 18 months of being a ghost. They know she's here. They know she's operating on the prosecutor, which means they want them both dead. Her hands move on autopilot, tying off vessels, checking her work. But her mind is in South Sudan, in the tent, watching Maya die because Kenya was too afraid to fight. Just run, Maya had said. So Kenya ran. For 18 months she's been running. The distant gunshots are getting closer, hospital staff screaming. The lockdown alarm continues its monotonous wail. Dr. Adler, Dr. Park says carefully. Those gunshots. I hear them. We should evacuate. He has 4 minutes before he bleeds out. We finish the surgery. Yoon Jung's hands are shaking. But if those men... Kenya's eyes flick up. For just a second, the surgical mask can't hide the predator underneath. Then they'll wait until I'm done. Minji's voice is barely a whisper. Who are you? Right now, I'm the surgeon saving this man's life. In 4 minutes, I'm whatever keeps you alive. She returns to the surgery, closes the artery repair, checks for leaks. Perfect. Her hands have never been steadier. Flashback. Kenya's 23, fresh out of medical school, signing her army commission papers. The recruiter asks why she's joining the military instead of doing a regular residency. Because people need doctors in war zones, she says. And I need to know I can save lives under the worst conditions. Cut 2, Kandahar, Afghanistan. Kenya's operating in a combat support hospital while mortars explode outside. A young Marine is dying on her table. She doesn't flinch at the explosions. She saves him. Cut 2, South Sudan. The humanitarian mission. Her team is setting up a mobile hospital when the first shots ring out. She's grabbing her medkit, running toward the sound, because that's what combat surgeons do. Then the massacre. Her team on their knees. Maya mouthing, just run. Kenya running, always running. Present. Closing, Kenya announces. Her hands fly through the final steps. Peritoneum, fascia, subcutaneous tissue, skin. Beautiful, precise surgical closures. Done. He's stable. The monitors confirm it. Blood pressure rising, heart rate stabilizing. The prosecutor will live. If they can keep him alive for the next hour. Kenya strips off her gloves. Turn off the surgical lights, all of them except the emergency backup. What? Dr. Park looks confused. Do it, now. Kenya moves to the door, peers through the small window. The hallway is dark except for emergency lighting. She sees 2 bodies, security guards, neat headshots. She counts to 10. Breathes. Yoon Jung's voice. Dr. Adler, what's happening? Kenya turns. Her team sees her face fully for the first time, and they understand that something fundamental has changed. The quiet, distant surgeon is gone. What's standing before them is someone who's killed before. What's happening? Kenya says calmly. Is 6 armed men are coming to murder everyone in this room. Hospital security is either dead or compromised. SWAT is probably being delayed. We're on our own. Minji's voice cracks. We're going to die. No. Kenya pulls off her surgical gown, revealing the dog tags under her scrubs. Tags that read, Major Kenya Adler, U.S. Army, Medical Corps. We're going to fight. She starts moving equipment, barricading the door with metal carts and IV poles. Her movements are efficient, practiced. Dr. Park stares. You're military. Was. Combat surgeon, 4 deployments. Kenya grabs a tray of surgical instruments. Kandahar, Baghdad, Mogadishu, South Sudan. Her voice hardens on the last one. I've operated under fire before. I've fought before. But you're a doctor. Minji starts. I'm a soldier who happens to save lives. Kenya arranges scalpels like weapons. Tonight, I'm doing both. Yoon-jung moves beside her, surprising everyone. The older nurse's hands are steady now. Tell us what to do. Kenya looks at her with respect. Protect the patients. If anyone gets past me, you run, you hide, you survive. And you? Dr. Park asks. I stop them from getting past me. Footsteps in the hallway. Multiple sets. Professional spacing. Kenya recognizes the tactical rhythm. These aren't thugs. These are soldiers. She grabs 2 scalpels, tests their weight. Get behind the patient. Stay low. The footsteps stop outside the OR door. Someone tries the key card. The lock beeps red. Lockdown protocol holds. Silence. Then a voice, accented, South African. Dr. Adler, Major Adler, Gabriel Okonkwo sends his regards. Open the door and we'll make it quick. You have my word. Kenya doesn't respond. The voice continues. We know you're in there. We know the prosecutor's in there. You can't run this time, Major. There's nowhere to go. Kenya's jaw tightens. She looks at the prosecutor on the table, unconscious, vulnerable. Looks at her team, terrified but standing their ground. Thinks about Maya. About her 12 colleagues who died because Kenya ran. I'm not running, Kenya says, loud enough to carry through the door. A pause, then you die like the rest of your unit. They'll have to kill me twice, Kenya says. The sound of C4 being placed on the door is distinctive. Soft clicking, magnetic adhesion. Kenya positions herself between the door and her patient. Scalpels ready. Breathing controlled. 5 seconds. Yoon-jung is praying softly. 3 seconds. Minji is crying, but she doesn't run. 1 second. Kenya's eyes are clear. The door explodes inward. The explosion is smaller than expected. Surgical, designed to blow the lock without collapsing the ceiling. Smart, professional. The door slams open, smoke billowing through. 4 men enter in diamond formation. Kenya's already moving. The first rule of close quarters combat. Distance is death. Get inside their firing line. She throws the first scalpel as she moves. It spins through smoke and embeds itself in the lead man's throat. He drops, choking, blood spraying across white tiles. His partners react, weapons swinging toward her. But Kenya's already closed distance on the second man. She grabs his rifle, redirects it. He fires wild. Bullets punch into ceiling tiles. She drives her knee into his groin, then the second scalpel into his armpit, subclavian artery. He has seconds. The third man is smarter. He releases his rifle, goes for his sidearm. Kenya's faster. She strips the dying second man's gun, shoots the third man twice. Center mass. He goes down. The fourth man makes the mistake of looking at his dead teammates. Kenya kills him with his own knife. 4 bodies on the floor. 12 seconds. Behind her, Dr. Park is staring in horror. Minji is vomiting. Yoon-jung has her hands over her mouth. Kenya checks the hallway. 2 more hostiles moving toward them, alerted by the gunfire. She drags the bodies inside, positions them as cover, takes their weapons and ammunition. 3 pistols, 1 rifle, spare magazines. Better. Lock the door behind me, she orders. Where are you going? Yoon-jung's voice is shaking. To save as many people as I can. Kenya checks her weapons one more time. If I don't come back in 10 minutes, barricade this room and wait for SWAT. Kenya, Dr. Park tries, but she's already gone, moving into the smoke-filled hallway like a ghost. The next 2 hostiles never see her coming. The hospital's emergency lighting casts everything in horror movie red. Kenya moves along the wall, weapon up, scanning corners and doorways with practiced efficiency. Somewhere in the building, people are screaming. Somewhere, her past has caught up with her present. She rounds a corner and nearly shoots a terrified nurse. The young woman, can't be more than 23, is pressed against the wall, shaking. "Where are the gunmen?" Kenya whispers. The nurse can't speak, just points down the hallway with a trembling hand. "Go to OR3. Tell them Kenya sent you. Stay there until this is over." The nurse runs. Kenya continues hunting. She finds the next hostile in the recovery room, standing over 3 sedated post-op patients with his weapon aimed at their heads. "Don't," Kenya says from the doorway. The man turns. She recognizes the face behind the mask. Marcus, the lead assassin, the South African mercenary who was in South Sudan. "Major Adler," he says, almost conversational. "You're harder to kill than your team was." Kenya's finger tightens on the trigger. "Walk away, Marcus. I'm trying to reduce the body count tonight." He laughs. "Gabriel paid me $500,000 to end you. I'm not walking away from that." "Then die for it." They both fire simultaneously. Kenya's faster. Marcus takes a round in the shoulder, spinning him. His shot goes wide, punching through the window behind her. She advances, weapon steady. Last chance. Marcus grabs one of the sedated patients, an elderly woman, using her as a shield. "You won't shoot. You're a doctor. You save lives." Kenya doesn't hesitate. She shoots him in the hip, the part of him exposed. He screams, releases the patient, goes down. She's on him in a second, weapon to his head. "I was a soldier first. Where's the rest of your team? Go to hell. After you." She pistol whips him unconscious. 2 hostiles left, plus whoever's running security interference. Kenya's phone buzzes. "Security Chief Kang." "Dr. Adler, what's your status?" She almost answers. Almost. But something's wrong. How does he know to call her specifically? How does he know she's the target? 2 hostiles down, she responds carefully. "Where's SWAT?" "Delayed. Riot across town is tying them up. You need to bring the prosecutor to the underground parking. I have an ambulance ready." Kenya's blood runs cold. "Which level?" "B3, southwest corner." She knows the layout. B3 is the most isolated level. Perfect kill zone. "Copy that," she lies. "On my way." She hangs up, crushes the phone under her heel. The security chief is compromised, which means SWAT isn't coming, which means they're on their own. Kenya looks at the unconscious patients she just saved, then back toward OR3, where her team and the prosecutor are waiting. She makes a decision. Kenya returns to OR3 to find her team has barricaded themselves in. Smart. They've pushed equipment against the door, moved the patients to the far corner, created a defensive position. "It's me," Kenya calls. "Kenya." The door opens. Dr. Park looks relieved and horrified. "We heard shooting." "Security Chief Kang is working for them." Kenya enters, immediately starts scanning the room for supplies. "SWAT isn't coming. We hold this position until morning shift starts in." She checks the wall clock. 4 hours. Minji's voice is desperate. 4 hours? We can't. "We can." Kenya starts pulling medical supplies. "And we will." She looks at Eun-jung. "You said earlier I was running from something." The older nurse nods. "You were right. 18 months ago, I testified against a warlord in South Sudan. He had my entire medical unit slaughtered. 12 people died because of me." Kenya's voice doesn't shake. "I survived by hiding, by running. I've been running ever since." "And tonight?" Dr. Park asks. Kenya looks at the prosecutor on the gurney. He's starting to stir. Consciousness returning. "Tonight I stop running. Tonight I protect my team." She starts transforming the OR into a fortress. Medical supplies become weapons. IV poles become spears. Oxygen tanks positioned near the door, explosive if punctured. Defibrillator pads rigged to deliver incapacitating shocks. Medication syringes filled with paralytics. Eun-jung watches her work. "You've done this before." "Kandahar. Taliban attacked our field hospital. 23 patients, 4 doctors, 2 nurses. We held for 6 hours until Marines arrived. Kenya sets up tripwires using IV tubing. Lost one patient, everyone else lived. How? Minji asks. Kenya looks up. Because I decided their lives were worth more than my fear. The prosecutor groans. His eyes flutter open. Kenya's immediately beside him, checking pupils, vitals. Mr. Prosecutor, can you hear me? He focuses on her with difficulty. Where? Seoul National Hospital. You were shot. I removed 2 bullets. You're stable, but you need to stay still. His hand weakly grabs her wrist. My niece, Ara. Is she safe in the waiting room? Kenya doesn't mention the armed men. Not yet. He tries to sit up. Kenya gently pushes him down. I said stay still. You have blood on you. His eyes are clearer now. And you're wearing a gun. Kenya realizes she's still armed. Tactical vest over her scrubs. Dog tags visible. It's complicated. Try me. His voice is stronger. Prosecutor voice. Used to getting answers. Kenya hesitates. Then, short version. The people who shot you are here to finish the job. Also, they're here to kill me. We're trapped in this OR with 2 more armed hostiles and a compromised security chief. SWAT isn't coming. We have maybe 4 hours to survive until morning shift arrives. He processes this. That's the short version? Told you it was complicated. And he looks at her tactical setup. Not just a doctor. Former Army combat surgeon, Major Kenya Adler. She extends her hand, blood-stained glove and all. Nice to officially meet you while you're conscious. He shakes it weakly. Prosecutor Shin Tai-min. Thanks for saving my life. Thank me when we're not surrounded by people trying to kill us. A sound in the hallway makes everyone freeze. Footsteps, multiple sets. Then Security Chief Kang's voice, amplified by a radio. Dr. Adler, I know you're listening. You killed 4 of our men. Impressive, but you're trapped. The prosecutor needs to die. Volkov's orders. Cooperate and the rest of your team walks out alive. Kenya grabs a radio from one of the dead mercenaries. Define cooperate. Step out of the OR. Hands visible. We finish the job quickly. Your team goes free. Tae-min's hand finds Kenya's wrist again. Don't. Kenya covers his hand with hers. Wasn't planning on it. Into the radio. Counteroffer. You and your mercenary friends leave now. I won't hunt you down when this is over. Kang laughs. You're not in a position to negotiate, Major. I just killed 4 professional soldiers in 12 seconds. I've got 3 more weapons, plenty of ammunition, and a room full of medical supplies I can weaponize. Plus, Kenya smiles coldly. I know you have daughters, Chief Kang. Mina and Ha-rin. They go to Seoul Arts Academy. Silence on the radio. Walk away, Kenya says quietly. Before I make you an orphan maker. The radio goes silent. Yoon-jung stares at her. Would you really? No, Kenya says. But he doesn't know that. Tae-min's watching her with new eyes. You threatened his children. I threatened a man who's trying to murder us. There's a difference. Kenya returns to her preparations. And I needed him angry. Angry people make mistakes. True to her prediction, the attack comes 3 minutes later. Okay, I need to pause for a second because this is getting intense. Team Kenya or Team Runaway? Would you fight to protect people you barely know? Or would you save yourself? Drop your honest answer in the comments. No judgment here. And if you're on Team Kenya, hit that subscribe button because you're about to see exactly why she was worth waiting for. Let's keep going. The door doesn't explode, this time. It's quieter, cutting torch, melting through the lock mechanism with surgical precision. Smart. They learned. Kenya positions herself at the choke point. Everyone behind the patient, stay low. The torch finishes. The door swings open slowly. Nobody enters for 5 seconds. 10 seconds. They're being cautious now. Then a flashbang grenade rolls through the doorway. Kenya's eyes are already closed, face turned away, hands over her ears. Training. The grenade detonates. Blinding light, deafening sound. But she's already moving through it, muscle memory guiding her. She hits the first man entering with an IV pole to the throat. He goes down choking. Second man fires blind. Bullets stitch across the ceiling. Kenya slides low, comes up inside his guard, drives a scalpel into his armpit. Subclavian artery. Fatal. Third man is smarter. He doesn't enter. Just throws another flashbang. Kenya grabs it mid-air, throws it back. The explosion outside the OR is followed by screaming. Then Security Chief Kang's voice. Gas masks, gas masks. Kenya realizes what's about to happen 1 second before it does. Tear gas canisters fly through the doorway. 3 of them. The OR fills with white smoke. Kenya's eyes start streaming immediately. Her team is coughing, gagging, blind. She can't fight what she can't see. Through the tears, she sees Kang entering, gas mask on, weapon up. 2 more men behind him. They're wearing full protective gear. Kenya makes a split-second decision. She grabs the oxygen tank she positioned earlier, shoots it. The explosion is massive. The concussion wave throws everyone to the ground. The tear gas ignites briefly, a white-hot fireball that consumes itself in seconds. Kang and his men are thrown backward into the hallway. Kenya's ears are ringing. She can't hear anything, but she can see Kang getting up, and she can see the door is now blocked by debris. She grabs Taemin's gurney. We move, now! Dr. Park and the nurses are still stunned. Kenya physically pulls them up. Move or die, choose! That gets them moving. They wheel the 3 patients out through the smoke, through the debris, into the hallway. Kenya's covering their retreat, weapon up, scanning for threats. Kang is on the floor, his leg trapped under a collapsed ceiling tile. He's alive, but immobile. 1 mercenary is dead, neck broken from the blast. The other is unconscious. Kenya pauses over Kang, points her weapon at his head. He stares up at her. My daughters will grow up knowing their father was a coward who sold out innocent people. Kenya lowers her weapon. But they'll grow up. I won't make them orphans. She continues moving, pushing Taemin's gurney. They reach the surgical supply room. Reinforced concrete walls, single metal door, no windows. Defensible. Inside, Kenya orders. They wheel all 3 patients in. Kenya does a final perimeter check, then enters and locks the door from inside. The supply room is large. 20 feet by 15 feet, floor-to-ceiling shelving stocked with medications, surgical supplies, equipment. Perfect. Kenya immediately starts building defenses. Not just barriers, traps. She rigs the door with an improvised explosive using an oxygen canister and surgical tubing. Not enough to kill, but enough to incapacitate. She creates a tripwire system using IV lines. Anyone entering will trigger them. She fills syringes with sedatives and paralytics, arranges them like darts. Dr. Park watches her work. Where did you learn all this? Combat Support Hospital in Kandahar got overrun by Taliban fighters. We had 20 minutes to prepare. Kenya's hands don't stop moving. We held them off for 6 hours, using nothing but medical supplies and improvisation. How many Taliban? 37 entered, 7 left. Kenya's voice is flat. We lost 1 patient to crossfire, the other 22 survived. Yoon-jung says quietly. And your team? 3 wounded, none killed. Kenya looks up. Because we worked together. Because we didn't panic. Because we used every advantage we had. She turns to face them all. I need you to understand something. I can fight. I can kill if I have to. But I can't protect you and fight at the same time. So I need you to stop being terrified and start thinking like survivors. Can you do that? Minji, who's been crying this whole time, suddenly stops, wipes her eyes. What do you need? Kenya hands her a syringe. Anyone gets past me, you stick them with this, anywhere. It's 50 milligrams of ketamine. They'll drop in seconds. Minji takes it with shaking hands. Nods. Yoon-jung says, I was a combat nurse in the Korean War. Long time ago. Tell me what you need. Kenya looks at her with new respect. Help me rig these traps and watch our patients. They work in silence for 10 minutes, building a fortress from medical supplies. Taemin watches from his gurney, his prosecutor's mind analyzing everything. You're not just defending. You're hunting. Kenya glances at him. What makes you say that? These traps aren't just deterrents. They're designed to wound, not kill, to make noise, to draw the remaining hostiles here where you have advantage. He studies her face. You're setting up an ambush. Smart man. Volkov, Kenya says. The arms dealer you're prosecuting. He's funding Gabriel Okonkwo, the warlord who killed my team. Taemin's eyes widen. You're going after both of them. I'm going to testify against both of them. But first, I need them to fail tonight. Completely, publicly. So when we go to trial, everyone knows what they're capable of. That's why you let Kang live. Kenya nods. Witness. He'll talk to save his daughters. He'll flip on Volkov. You're not just a soldier, Taemin says quietly. You think like a prosecutor. I think like a survivor. Kenya finishes the last trap. Now rest. You're still recovering from surgery. Hard to rest when people are trying to kill me. Kenya almost smiles. Fair point. The radio crackles. A new voice. Accented. Marcus. Major Adler. I'm impressed. You've killed 6 of our men. That's more than most special forces teams could manage, but you're still trapped, and I have all night. Kenya picks up the radio. Actually, Marcus, you have 3 hours before morning shift arrives. Then this place fills with 200 staff and Seoul Metropolitan Police. Your window is closing. Then I better make this quick. The sound of a safety clicking off. I'm coming for you, Major, and this time I won't miss. Kenya looks at her team. At Taemin. At the 3 unconscious patients they've dragged through hell to protect. Let him come, she says, and waits for war. The waiting is the hardest part. Kenya checks her watch. 12:47 a.m. They've been under siege for 94 minutes. Feels like 94 hours. Taemin's awake, color returning to his face. Strong constitution. Tell me about South Sudan. Kenya's hand still while checking an IV line. Why? Because I'm prosecuting the man who funds your nightmares. Because if we survive this, I'm going to need your testimony. Because... He pauses. Because I want to know who's protecting me. Kenya sits on the floor beside his gurney. Yoon Jung takes over monitoring patients. Humanitarian mission, Kenya starts. Mobile hospital in South Sudan, treating civilians caught in the civil war. My team, 12 doctors and nurses, we were supposed to be neutral, protected under international law. But Gabriel Okonkwo didn't care about international law. We treated people his militias tortured, documented war crimes, prepared testimony. Kenya's voice is steady, but her eyes are distant. He sent men to our compound at 3 a.m. They lined my entire team up. I was in the supply tent, couldn't sleep, inventory, paperwork. I heard the gunfire, saw it all through a gap in the canvas. And you hid. I froze, completely froze. Kenya's hands clench. My best friend Maya, she saw me. She could have screamed, could have given me away. Instead, she mouthed, "Run." Then they cut her throat. Silence. Taemin says quietly, "You survived because she sacrificed herself." I survived because I was a coward. No. Taemin's voice is firm. You survived because she chose to save you. There's a difference. Dying wouldn't have honored her sacrifice. Living did. Kenya looks at him. Really looks at him. You lost someone too. I can hear it in your voice. My wife, Sujin, cancer, 3 years ago. Taemin stares at the ceiling. I was prosecuting a corporate corruption case, my biggest one yet. She started feeling sick. I told her I'd take her to the doctor next week. I was too busy, too important. It wasn't your fault. She died 6 months later, stage 4 by the time we caught it. Maybe if I'd taken her to that doctor earlier. He stops. We both carry guilt for people we couldn't save. So you prosecute, monsters to make up for it. And you save lives in war zones. Taemin looks at her. We're both running from the same thing. Kenya opens her mouth to respond when the radio crackles. Dr. Adler, it's Chief Kang. His voice is strained, pained. I need medical attention. My leg is crushed. Please. Kenya picks up the radio. You tried to kill us. They have my daughters. I didn't have a choice. He's crying. Please, I don't want to die. Kenya looks at her team, at Tae-min. Yoon-jung says, "He's a father. Whatever he did." "He chose money over lives," Minji counters. Kenya stands. "I'm going out there." Everyone protests at once. "He could be bait." Dr. Park starts. "He is bait," Kenya agrees. "But he's also a man who might bleed out. I didn't become a doctor to let people die." She checks her weapons. "I'll be fast." Taemin grabs her wrist. "Don't, please. I already lost my wife to my principles. Don't make me lose you to yours." Kenya freezes. "You is such a small word to carry so much weight." "I have to," she says softly. "Because if I don't, I'm no better than Gabriel." She unlocks the door. The traps are still armed. She navigates them carefully, slips into the hallway. The surgical wing looks like a war zone. Bullet holes in walls, blood trails, smoke damage, bodies covered with sheets. Kang is where she left him, pinned under debris, pale from blood loss. He looks up when she approaches, relief and shame mixing on his face. "I'm sorry," he whispers. "I'm so sorry." Kenya kneels, assesses the damage. Compound fracture, significant bleeding. She starts treatment, working fast. "Who's paying you?" "Volkov, through intermediaries. They approached me 6 months ago, said if I ever needed them." He winces as she splints his leg. "Then tonight, they called, said they knew where my daughters sleep. What choice did I have?" "You could have called SWAT anyway, warned us." "I know." He's crying now. "I know." Kenya finishes stabilizing him. "You're going to testify, against Volkov, against everyone." "They'll kill my daughters. Prosecutor Shin will put them in protective custody. Right now, they're safer testifying than staying silent." Kenya helps him sit up. "This is your chance to actually protect them. Take it." The sound of a gun cocking behind her. "Touching," Marcus says. "But I think the chief's usefulness is over." Kenya doesn't turn. "Marcus." "Major." She can hear the smile in his voice. "You're predictable. I knew you'd come for the wounded. It's who you are. Then you know I don't go down easy. Also predictable." He fires. Kenya's already moving. She shoves Kang aside, rolls, comes up with her weapon. But Marcus is fast. His second shot hits her shoulder. Pain explodes white hot. Her gun drops. She rolls behind a supply cart as Marcus advances, firing methodically. "You cost me a lot of money tonight, Major," Marcus says conversationally. "Gabriel wants you alive, but I think dead is easier." Kenya's shoulder is bleeding badly. She applies pressure with one hand, reaches for a weapon with the other. Her fingers close around a scalpel. Marcus rounds the corner. Kenya throws herself at him, not away, toward. It's the last thing he expects. They crash to the ground. She drives the scalpel into his thigh. He screams, throws her off. She hits the wall hard, vision blurring. Marcus pulls the scalpel out, blood pouring. "You bitch!" Taemin appears in the hallway, leaning heavily on the doorframe, holding Kenya's dropped gun in shaking hands. "Step away from her," Taemin says. Marcus laughs. "You just had abdominal surgery. You can barely stand." "Don't need to stand to shoot you." Taemin's hands steady. Prosecutor voice. Authority. "Step away." Marcus calculates. Wounded leg. Armed but weakened opponent. Decides. He runs. Taemin fires twice. Misses. Marcus disappears down the hallway. Taemin collapses. Kenya crawls to him. "You idiot! You're going to tear your sutures." "Couldn't let him kill you." Taemin's face is gray with pain. Fair trade. Yoon-jung and Minji appear. Help them both back to the supply room. Dr. Park is already setting up for emergency treatment. Kenya's shoulder wound is through and through, clean, painful but manageable. Yoon-jung packs it while Kenya grits her teeth. "You went soft." Minji says. Not accusatory, observational. "I went human," Kenya corrects. "There's a difference." Taemin's on the next gurney. Dr. Park checking his incision. "You're lucky, no tears. But if you do that again?" I know. Taemin looks at Kenya. "Worth it." Their eyes meet. Hold. Chief Kang, dragged into the supply room, says weakly, There's only one left now. Marcus, he's hurt, bleeding. He'll make a mistake. Or he'll get desperate, Kenya says. Desperate is more dangerous. She checks her remaining ammunition. 1 magazine, 15 rounds. I'm ending this, she announces. Kenya, you're wounded. Yoon Jung starts. So is he, makes us even. Kenya stands, tests her shoulder. Painful but functional. I'm not waiting for him to regroup. I'm not giving him time to call reinforcements. I'm hunting him now. Taemin sits up despite Dr. Park's protests. Then I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. He's after me, Kenya, the prosecutor. That's why he's here. Taemin's voice is steel. This is my fight too. Kenya wants to argue. Knows she should argue. But she sees the determination in his eyes. The same determination that got him shot in the first place because he wouldn't stop prosecuting monsters. Fine, she says. But you stay behind me. You don't engage. You're bait. Bait? Bait, Kenya confirms. He wants you dead. We use that. She explains her plan. It's risky. Probably stupid. Definitely going to hurt. I'm in, Taemin says. They prepare to hunt. The hospital's emergency lighting casts everything in blood red. Kenya and Taemin move through the surgical, wing like ghosts. Her in front, weapon ready, him behind, using the wall for support. Kenya's shoulder screams with every movement. She ignores it. Pain is just information. Information can be managed. They're tracking blood trails. Marcus is wounded, bleeding from his thigh where Kenya stabbed him. He's leaving a trail. Too easy. It's a trap, Kenya whispers. Probably, Taemin agrees. Your plan was to trap him. He's doing the same to us. So we're walking into a trap knowing it's a trap. Welcome to prosecution work. This is how we catch them. Kenya almost smiles. Almost. They follow the blood trail to the recovery wing. 6 patient rooms, all empty. Evacuated during the lockdown. Perfect ambush territory. Kenya pauses at the entrance. Scans. 3 rooms on each side. Blood trail leads to the last room on the right. Too obvious, she mutters. She signals Taemin to stay put. Moves forward alone, weapon up, checking angles. The first room is clear. Second room clear. Third room. Marcus lunges from the 4th room on the left. Kenya spins, but he's already on her, driving her into the wall. Her wounded shoulder hits first. She screams. He's got a knife. Military combat blade, swinging for her throat. Kenya blocks with her forearm. The knife cuts deep. She ignores it. Drives her knee into his wounded thigh. He grunts, grip loosening. She breaks free, pivots, kicks his knee. He goes down. But he's a professional. He rolls, comes up with the knife still in hand. They circle each other, both wounded, both exhausted, both determined. Gabriel wants you alive, Marcus says, breathing hard. But he'll settle for dead. Your choice. I choose neither. Kenya feints left, goes right, inside his guard. Drives her elbow into his face. His nose crunches. He stumbles back, blood pouring. Slashes wildly with the knife. Kenya dodges but not fast enough. The blade catches her ribs, shallow but burning. She's losing, too many wounds, too much blood loss. Her vision's starting to tunnel. Marcus sees it. Smiles. You're done, Major. Not yet. Kenya's hand finds a fire extinguisher on the wall. She swings it like a club. Catches him in the temple. He goes down hard, but doesn't stay down. Rolls away, gets to his feet. That smile never leaving his face. I've killed 47 people, Marcus says. You're number 48. You're not the first person to say that to me tonight. Kenya raises the fire extinguisher. You won't be the last to be wrong. He charges. Kenya sprays the extinguisher directly in his face. White foam explodes. He's blinded. She drops the extinguisher, grabs his knife arm, uses his momentum against him. Military combatives training from a lifetime ago. They crash into a patient room. Kenya on top. She's got his knife hand pinned. But he's stronger. Wounded but stronger. He's forcing the knife toward her throat. Inch by inch. Kenya's shoulder is bleeding again. her ribs on fire, her arms shaking. The knife is 2 inches from her carotid. 1 inch. "Kenya!" Taemin's voice. She doesn't look, can't look. All her focus on keeping that knife away. 1/2 inch. Then Taemin is there, bringing a metal IV pole down on Marcus's skull with everything he has. Once, twice, 3 times. Marcus goes limp. Kenya rolls off him, gasping. Taemin collapses beside her. They lie there on the floor, 2 wounded people who refuse to die. "Is he dead?" Taemin asks. Kenya checks for a pulse. "Unconscious, severe concussion. He'll live." "Good. I want him testifying." Kenya laughs. "It hurts. Everything hurts. You really are a prosecutor. And you really are a warrior." Taemin looks at her. They're both covered in blood, both barely breathing. "Thank you." "For what?" "For not running. For protecting me. For—" He pauses. "For being you." Kenya doesn't know what to say to that. So she says nothing. Just reaches out and takes his hand. They lie there, holding hands in a blood-soaked hospital room, waiting for dawn. "We should get back," Kenya finally says. "Probably." Taemin doesn't move. Neither does Kenya. "5 more minutes," she says. "5 more minutes," he agrees. They've earned it. Scene 10. The aftermath. 50-60. The sound of approaching sirens finally breaks the moment. Real sirens this time. SWAT, ambulances, the cavalry arriving too late, but better late than never. Kenya forces herself to stand. Helps Taemin up. They secure Marcus with zip ties from a maintenance cart, then make their way back to the supply room. Their team is still there, still alive, still protecting the patients. "You're back," Minji says, relief flooding her face. Then she sees their condition. "You're both bleeding. We're standing, that's enough." Kenya helps Taemin onto a gurney. "Everyone else okay?" Yoon-jung nods. "The patients are stable. Chief Kang is stable. We heard gunshots." "Marcus is down. It's over." Kenya sinks into a chair. The adrenaline is wearing off. Everything hurts. SWAT is here. As if on cue, voices in the hallway. Tactical commands. The door to the supply room flies open. SWAT officers in full gear flood in, weapons raised. "Hands up! Everyone hands up!" Kenya raises her hands slowly. So does everyone else. The SWAT commander takes in the scene. Wounded doctor, wounded prosecutor, terrified medical staff, unconscious patients, blood everywhere. "What the hell happened here?" Kenya's too tired to explain. "You're late. Riot across town." "Was staged. Volkov staged it to delay you. Chief Kang will testify to that." Kenya points to Kang, who nods weakly. The commander processes this. "You're Dr. Adler?" "Major Kenya Adler, former Army Medical Corps, currently very tired. We found 6 bodies. 7. Marcus is down in recovery room 4, unconscious but alive." Kenya's eyes are closing. "I need you to call Detective Kim at the National Intelligence Service. Tell him Kenya Adler is ready to testify against Gabriel Okonkwo and Dmitry Volkov. Tell him—" She's swaying now. Taemin's voice. "Tell him we both are." Kenya looks at him. Smiles. "Yeah, both of us." Then she passes out. "If you've made it this far, you're invested. You're part of this story now. Tell me, have you ever had to choose between running from your past or facing it head on? What did you choose? Drop your story in the comments. And if you want to see Kenya and Taemin get their justice, hit that subscribe button. Because we're not done yet. The trial is coming. And it's going to be explosive. Let's finish this. 6 months is enough time to heal. Physically, emotionally is another story. Kenya stands outside the courthouse, looking up at the building where this all started. Where Taemin was shot. Where her 18 months of running ended. She's wearing a navy suit today. Professional. Her hair is styled. Makeup covers the worst of the scars. But the one on her shoulder is visible above her collar. She doesn't hide it. Taemin appears beside her, also in a suit. His glasses catch the morning light. "Ready?" he asks. "No, you. Not even a little." He takes her hand. "Let's do it anyway." They walk into the courthouse together, past protesters, some supporting Gabriel, claiming he's being persecuted, others supporting Kenya and her testimony. It's a circus. Inside, security is triple the normal level. Snipers on rooftops, metal detectors, everyone searched. Gabriel's lawyers tried to get the trial delayed, tried to get Kenya's testimony excluded, tried everything. Taemin fought every motion, won every argument. Today, justice begins. The courtroom is packed. International media, diplomats, human rights observers. This trial is making headlines globally. Kenya sits in the witness section, sees faces she recognizes. Minji, Yoonjung, Dr. Park, all here to support her. Ara gives her a thumbs up from the gallery. The judge enters. Everyone stands. The People versus Gabriel Okonkwo and Dmitry Volkov, case number... Kenya stops listening to the formalities. Her eyes are on Gabriel. He's in the defendant's chair. Orange jumpsuit, handcuffs, but his eyes are the same, cold, calculating, showing no remorse. He looks directly at Kenya, smiles. She doesn't look away, doesn't flinch. Taemin approaches the bench. Your Honor, the prosecution calls Dr. Kenya Adler to the stand. Kenya stands, walks to the witness box, places her hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. She sits, faces the courtroom. This is it. Taemin begins. Dr. Adler, please state your name and occupation for the record. Dr. Kenya Adler, trauma surgeon at Seoul National Hospital, former Major, United States Army Medical Corps. How do you know the defendant Gabriel Okonkwo? Kenya's voice is steady. 18 months ago, I was part of a humanitarian medical mission in South Sudan. We treated victims of his malicious attacks, documented war crimes, prepared testimony for international courts. What happened next? He sent men to our compound. They executed my entire team, 12 doctors and nurses. I survived by hiding. I've been in witness protection ever since. Murmurs in the courtroom. The judge bangs the gavel. Taemin continues. Can you describe what you witnessed? And Kenya does. In clinical detail, every moment of that night. Maya's face, the sound of gunfire, the blood. She doesn't cry, doesn't break, just testifies. For 3 hours, she speaks. About the massacre, about the hospital siege 6 months ago, about how Volkov's money funded Gabriel's operation. Gabriel's lawyer cross-examines, tries to discredit her, calls her a coward for hiding, questions her memory, suggests she's making it up for attention. Kenya doesn't rise to the bait, just answers every question calmly, factually. Major Adler, the defense attorney sneers, isn't it true that you killed 7 men at Seoul National Hospital? Yes, 7 men, and you expect this jury to believe you're a hero. Kenya looks directly at the jury. I expect this jury to understand that I protected 33 innocent people from trained assassins sent by these defendants. I did what any soldier would do. I defended those who couldn't defend themselves. The defense attorney sputters, has no response. 4 hours later, she steps down. Taemin catches her in the hallway during recess. You were perfect. I was honest. Kenya leans against the wall. Is it enough? We have Kang's testimony next, then the forensic evidence, then Marcus testified in exchange for reduced sentence. Taemin touches her face gently. It's enough. You're enough. The trial continues for 3 weeks. Witness after witness, evidence after evidence. The case Taemin has built is overwhelming, but Gabriel's lawyers are good. They create doubt, suggest alternative explanations, paint Kenya as unstable. The jury deliberates for 4 days. Kenya doesn't sleep, can't eat, just waits. Taemin stays with her. His apartment has become theirs over these 6 months. They don't talk much, just exist in the same space, holding each other up. On the 4th day, the verdict comes in. The courtroom is silent as the jury foreman stands. Kenya's hands are clenched so tight her knuckles are white. Taemin's beside her, his hand on her back. In the matter of the People versus Gabriel Okonkwo, on the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, We find the defendant guilty. The courtroom explodes. But the foreman continues. On the charge of crimes against humanity, guilty. On the charge of ordering the execution of humanitarian workers, guilty. Every charge. Guilty on every single charge. Gabriel's face doesn't change. He just stares at Kenya with those cold eyes. The judge speaks. Gabriel Okonkwo, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. You will be remanded to the International Criminal Court in The Hague for additional war crimes proceedings. Guards move to take him away. As they pass Kenya, Gabriel leans in. This isn't over. Kenya meets his eyes. Yes, it is. You lose, I win, my team wins, Maya wins. He's dragged away. Volkov's verdict comes next. Also guilty on all counts. Life imprisonment. Kenya's legs give out. Taiman catches her. They hold each other while the courtroom swirls around them. It's over. It's finally over. Outside the courthouse, media surrounds them. Questions flying. Kenya stands at the podium. Taiman beside her. 18 months ago, I watched 12 incredible people die because they chose to help others. Today, their killer was brought to justice. This verdict is for them. For Dr. Maya Chen, who saved my life with her sacrifice. For everyone who stood up to evil and paid the price. Justice delayed isn't justice denied. It just takes time and courage and people who refuse to give up. Taiman adds, this prosecution would not have been possible without Dr. Adler's bravery. She risked everything to testify. She refused to hide. She's the definition of a hero. Kenya looks at him. We both are. We did this together. A reporter shouts, Dr. Adler, are you and Prosecutor Shin romantically involved? Kenya and Taiman exchange glances. Smile. Next question, Taiman says diplomatically. But Kenya leans into the microphone. Yes, and before you ask, we met when I was removing bullets from his abdomen while assassins tried to kill us. It's been a complicated relationship. Laughter from the press corps. The tension breaks. Later, in a quiet cafe away from the cameras, their team celebrates. Minji, Yoon-jung, Dr. Park, Ara, even Chief Kang, released after his cooperation and testimony, now working as a security consultant teaching ethical decision-making. Kang approaches Kenya hesitantly. Dr. Adler, I wanted to apologize. Again, what I did, you were protecting your daughters. I understand. Kenya extends her hand. And you testified. You helped us win. Thank you. He shakes her hand, relief evident. Minna and Ha-Rin want to meet you someday. They call you the warrior doctor. Kenya smiles. I'd like that. As the evening winds down, Kenya steps outside for air. Seoul's night skyline glitters. 6 months ago, she was fighting for her life in that hospital. Now she's free. Taiman joins her. Crazy 6 months. Understatement of the century. Kenya leans against the railing. What happens now? Now, we breathe, we heal, we live. Taiman turns to face her. What do you want to happen? Kenya considers. I want to keep saving lives, keep being a doctor, keep working nights at Seoul National. That all? And maybe, she looks at him, maybe stop being so alone. Taiman steps closer. I might know someone who's interested in that position. Yeah? What are his qualifications? Stubborn, workaholic. Got shot once defending justice. Hit a mercenary with an IV pole to protect you. Makes decent coffee in the morning. Kenya laughs. Sounds overqualified. I'm a very ambitious candidate. He takes both her hands. Kenya Adler. Would you consider not running anymore? Would you consider staying here in Seoul with me? It's not quite a confession, not quite a proposal, but it's everything. Kenya thinks about Maya, about her team, about 18 months of running, about the moment she chose to stop. Yes, she says simply. I'll stay. Taiman's face lights up. Yeah? Yeah, someone needs to keep you out of trouble. I think you attract more trouble than I do. Then it's a perfect match. Kenya leans in. Fair warning, I have nightmares. PTSD, scars that won't fade. I wake up at 3 a.m. thinking I'm back in South Sudan. I'm a mess. I lost my wife, raised my niece alone, work 80 hours a week because I don't know how to stop. I'm also a mess. Taemin cups her face. We can be messes together. That's the worst romantic line I've ever heard. I'm a prosecutor, not a poet. Kenya laughs, then kisses him. It's soft, careful, both of them still healing from more than just physical wounds. When they break apart, Ara is watching from the cafe window, phone out, recording, grinning like a maniac. Your niece is spying on us, Kenya observes. She's been planning this for months. Let her have her moment. They stand there, holding each other, while Seoul lights up around them and the future, uncertain, dangerous, but theirs, stretches ahead. 1 year later. Kenya walks through the emergency department in clean scrubs, coffee in hand, greeting colleagues by name. She's no longer invisible, no longer hiding. She's Dr. Adler, trauma surgeon, survivor, hero. The hospital dedicated the renovated surgical wing in her honor, the Adler Wing. She tried to refuse. They didn't listen. Minji catches up to her. Dr. Adler, we have incoming. MVA, multiple casualties. ETA 3 minutes. I'm on it. Kenya hands off her coffee, shifts into doctor mode. The day is controlled chaos. She operates on 3 patients, saves all 3, teaches residents between cases, handles paperwork she hates, normal doctor things. At 6 p.m. her shift ends. She changes into street clothes, heads out. Taemin is waiting outside in his car. Ara's in the back seat. Hi, Kenya. Ara waves. She's 17 now, applying to universities, wants to study international law. Taemin couldn't be prouder. Hi yourself, good day at school? Boring, unlike your day. Minji texted me. 3 surgeries? Just another Tuesday. Kenya slides into the passenger seat, leans over and kisses Taemin. Hi. Hi yourself. He pulls into traffic. Ready for tonight? Tonight is the International Criminal Court commemoration ceremony. They're honoring Kenya's team, the 12 who died in South Sudan. Maya's family is flying in from California. Kenya's dreading it and needing it in equal measure. As ready as I'll ever be. They drive to the Grand Hyatt. The ceremony is formal. Diplomats, UN officials, human rights organizations. Kenya gives a speech about Maya, about choosing courage over fear, about the 12 who died so others could live. Maya's parents approach her afterward. Mrs. Chen is crying. Thank you, she says, embracing Kenya, for testifying, for making sure her death meant something. Kenya hugs her back, tears finally coming. She saved my life. I'm just trying to honor that. You did. You do every day. Mr. Chen shakes her hand. She would be so proud of you. After the ceremony, Kenya needs air. She finds a balcony, looks out over Seoul, the city that became her home, the place where she finally stopped running. Footsteps behind her. Taemin. You okay? He asks. Yeah, I think I am. Kenya takes his hand. For the first time in almost 3 years, I think I actually am okay. That's good, because I have something to ask you. Kenya turns. Taemin is holding a small box. Oh, she says. Oh, yes. He opens it. A ring. Simple, elegant. A single diamond that catches the city lights. Kenya Adler, you saved my life. You changed my life. You made me believe in more than just justice. You made me believe in joy, in healing, in second chances. Would you marry me? Kenya stares at the ring. At him. At the future he's offering. She thinks about all the running she did. All the hiding, all the fear. She thinks about choosing to stay. To fight. To live. She thinks about Maya saying, just run. And Kenya finally understanding that Maya didn't mean run forever. She meant survive long enough to fight back. Yes, Kenya says. Obviously yes. Taemin slides the ring on her finger, kisses her while Seoul sparkles below them, and the past finally releases its grip. Inside, Ara sees them through the window and literally screams with excitement. Everyone turns to look. Kenya and Taemin laugh. They hold each other and breathe. 6 months later. Small ceremony, close friends and family only. Minji is a bridesmaid. Dr. Park walks Kenya down the aisle since her own father couldn't make it from Kenya, the country, not her. Ara is Taemin's best woman. They exchange vows in a garden overlooking the Han River. Cherry blossoms falling like snow. Kenya's vows. You woke up during surgery, and the first thing you did was try to save me, even though you could barely move. That's when I knew you were either very brave or very stupid. Turns out you're both, and I love you for it. I promise to stand beside you, to never run from what scares me, to choose courage, to choose us. Taemin's vows. You killed 7 men and saved 33 people in one night wearing scrubs and surgical gloves. That's when I knew you were extraordinary. But I fell in love with you when you risked everything to save Chief Kang, even after he betrayed us. Because that's who you are. Someone who saves lives, even when it costs you. I promise to protect you, to give you a home worth staying for, to choose love, to choose us. Everyone cries, even Ara, who pretends she's not. At the reception, Kenya dances with her new husband. Ara takes a million pictures. Minji and Eunjung cry happy tears. Dr. Park makes a toast about the bravest surgeon he's ever known. This is nice, Taemin murmurs. The not being shot at thing. Don't jinx it. Too late. I married a trouble magnet. Kenya laughs. Then I guess you better stay close, for protection. That's the plan. He kisses her forehead. For the rest of our lives. They dance until their feet hurt. Celebrate until the stars come out. And when they finally leave, driving away toward their honeymoon in Jeju Island, Kenya looks back one last time at the people who helped her survive, who helped her heal, who helped her finally stop running. Then she looks forward, toward the future, toward home. Kenya's in the OR, operating, routine appendectomy. The patient is stable, everything is normal. Her phone buzzes. She ignores it. Surgery first. When she finishes and checks her messages, there's a photo from Taemin, a positive pregnancy test. Kenya stares at it for a long moment. Reads his message. Surprise? Come home when you can. We need to talk. Happy talk. Don't worry. Well, maybe worry a little. Okay, I'm freaking out. But in a good way, I think. Come home. She laughs, cries, laughs again. Minji appears. Dr. Adler, you okay? Yeah. Kenya wipes her eyes. Yeah, I'm perfect. She looks at the photo again. A future she never thought she'd have. A family, a home, a life beyond survival. I'm going home early today, Kenya announces. Everything okay? Eunjung asks, concerned. Everything's perfect. For the first time in my life, everything's actually perfect. She changes out of her scrubs, drives home through Seoul traffic, her hand unconsciously moving to her still flat stomach. She finds Taemin waiting with Ara, who clearly already knows based on her grin. So, Taemin says nervously. Thoughts? Kenya kisses him. Long, deep. Then pulls back and says, I think Maya would be happy for me. For us. She would be. I think I'm terrified. Me too. I think I'm also incredibly happy. Me too. Kenya places her hand on her stomach. Our kid is going to have the weirdest origin story. Yeah, but also the best one. Taemin covers her hand with his. We've got this. We've got this, Kenya agrees. And they do. Because she's Dr. Kenya Adler, former major, combat surgeon, survivor, wife, and soon, mother. She stopped running 3 years ago, and she's never looked back. People ask me how I survived, how I went from running to fighting, from hiding to testifying, from broken to whole. The truth is, I didn't do it alone. I had a team. I had people who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I had a prosecutor who wouldn't let me run. And I had a reason, 12 reasons, to stand up and fight back. Justice isn't about revenge. It's about refusing to let evil win. It's about choosing courage even when you're terrified. It's about saving lives, including your own. My name is Dr. Kenya Adler, former major, combat surgeon, survivor, wife, mother-to-be. I stopped running 3 years ago in an operating room in Seoul when I realized that some things are worth fighting for. Some people are worth protecting. Some futures are worth believing in. Maya told me to run, and I did, for 18 months. But then I learned what she really meant. She meant survive long enough to fight back, to live, to honor the sacrifice by refusing to let fear win. So I stopped running, and I started living. And if you're running from something tonight, whether it's your past, your fear, your pain, I hope you find the courage to stop, to turn around, to fight back, because you're stronger than you know, braver than you believe, and worth every second of the battle. Thank you for listening to my story. Now go write yours. Dr. Kenya Adler continues to work at Seoul National Hospital, specializing in trauma surgery. She also trains combat medics and speaks internationally on medical ethics in conflict zones. Prosecutor Shin Tae-min leads the International Crimes Division and has successfully prosecuted 47 cases involving human trafficking, war crimes, and corruption. Gabriel Okonkwo is serving life imprisonment at The Hague. He died in prison in 2027 from natural causes. Dmitry Volkov is serving life imprisonment in South Korea. His criminal empire collapsed following his conviction. Marcus testified against both organizations and is serving 15 years in a reduced security facility. Chief Kang completed his testimony and now works as a security ethics consultant. His daughters Min-ah and Ha-rin both graduated university. Kenya and Tae-min have 2 children, Maya, age 4, and Jun, age 2. They live in Seoul. In 2028, Kenya established the Maya Chen Foundation, providing scholarships for medical students from conflict zones. Some scars heal. Some loves are worth fighting for. Some heroes wear scrubs. This story is dedicated to humanitarian workers worldwide who risk everything to save lives.